Hello, in this video, in this lesson, we are going to practice using WH questions in the past tense. WH questions are words like questions that start with what, where, when, how, why, etc. All right? And the objective that we have for this lesson is to ask and answer WH questions about events in the past. All right? So we are going to ask questions about things that took place before this time in the past. You are familiar with these words. What, when we're asking about a place, a thing, a noun, an action as well. When, about some time. Where, location. How, about the way things are done. Why, about the reason. Okay? For now, we have another one, but I'll show it to you in a moment. Let's remember how we ask questions in the past. Remember that in a question, we always have a subject that has an auxiliary before it. So if the subject is you will have the auxiliary did, because it's a question in the past. And before the auxiliary, we may have that question word. So the order in which a question will appear would be question word, auxiliary, and then subject. Remember that the subject following the auxiliary is what makes a question in general. So we would say, what did you learn in music class yesterday? Because we already used the auxiliary did, we don't need to put the word learn, that verb learn, in the past form because we already have a past form in the sentence. What did you learn in music class today? Something that sometimes is confusing for people is when we have a subject that is composed not only of one word, but of several words. For example, what did you and your classmates, that's the whole subject, you and your classmates. What did you and your classmates learn in music class today? So be careful, don't get confused because the subject is longer than just one word. And that where that is there highlighted for you is to make sure that questions will start, of course, with a question word. WH questions will start with a question word. In that case, where. That where will appear before the auxiliary and, of course, before the subject. Now, that question word, like where, could be one word, like in that example, or it could be something longer than just one word, like in the phrase, in which part of the country. We have a long phrase before the auxiliary, and that is, let's say, the question phrase that goes before the auxiliary. Don't become confused because it is more than one word. In which part of the country did your parents grow up? We could have said, where did your parents grow up? But we could say, in which part of the country, in what part of Europe, in what part of Latin America, in what part of the United States did your parents grow up? All right. So those are the things that you need to take into account when you are asking WH questions. All right. The subject, whether it's one word or many, or the question word, which could be one word or a phrase. All right? Now, there is something particular about this question word, who. What is important about it? Look at this question. Who came to your classroom this morning? Who came? Where is the auxiliary? When we have a word, when we have a sentence that starts with who as a question word, and we are asking about the subject, the doer of the action, we don't need an auxiliary. There is no auxiliary there. Why? Because we don't have the subject. Who is, let's say, the subject of the sentence, and we cannot place anything before the question word because the question word is the one that starts the sentence. So there is no place for us to include an auxiliary, and actually, the auxiliary usually goes before the subject, and we don't have a subject. We don't know who the subject is. So for all those reasons, we when we're asking about the subject of a sentence, we just use go, and then straight ahead we say, we add the verb conjugated in whatever tense we need to. All right? Who came to your classroom this morning? Who is the subject and the question in itself. Now, if we have a sentence that starts with who, but we are not asking about the subject, the doer of the action, but about the object. For example, in this question, who did you see in your classroom this morning? Who did you see? Who are we asking about? The person that you saw. The subject is you, and it is already there. And before the subject, we have the auxiliary, yes, but we don't need to ask about the doer of the action because we already know it. In that case, we use this structure. Who did you see in your classroom this morning? So we're asking about the object, the recipient of the action of seeing. Who did you see? I saw a firefighter who came to visit us. In a more formal setting, sometimes when we are asking about the object of a verb, and it is a person, we may not say who did you see, but whom did you see. It is more formal. Not many people use it, but that would be, let's say, the grammatically correct form. But it is so common that people say who did you see that many people will not think that it is incorrect. All right? So you have the option, depending on how formal you want to sound, you may say who did you see or whom did you see? All right? You can research more about it if you like and decide which one you want to use, which form. All right? Let's have some little practice activities. The first one is use the words provided to ask WH questions in the past simple tense, using each of the following WH words only once. All right? Then answer them in a grammatically correct way. So these are the question words that you are going to use. And here are some phrases let's say some sets of words separated by this slash here that you can use to make up any question. You have to add more words to make it more sense, but you are free to do that. When you finish asking your question, answer it in a grammatically correct way. All right? So you have some suggestions for the question, but you are completely free to answer them once you have asked the questions. So pause my video, complete the activity, and in a moment when you are ready, you resume the video so that you can see the answers that I have for you, the sample questions and answers. Go ahead, pause my video, complete the exercise, please. All right, I hope that you did it. And for these three words, or these four words, these three sets of words, we have, actually it's not three sets of words. This set of words composed of three parts. Let's say you, do, and this morning. We have this sample question. What did you do this morning? All right. And a sample answer could be, I made breakfast for my sister and me. All right. For these words, what question could we ask? How did your father bake the cake yesterday? He baked the cake following my mom's recipe. All right. With brother go on beach, we said, when did your brother go to the beach? He went to the beach last weekend. You find it last night. Where did you find my wallet last night? You needed to add what is found there. I found it on the sofa. Who brought the sugar for the cookies yesterday? My sister brought the sugar for the cookies yesterday. Why did you miss dance class last night? I missed dance class last night because I had a stomachache. Okay, that would be the only thing that would make me miss a dance class. I like it very much, very much. All right, thank you for having reviewed these answers for you with me, and I hope that this served as a reference for you so that you can add more details to your answers. All right, now we have another activity for you. You and your classmate are going to talk about the last time one of you helped somebody. One event in the past. You helped somebody. The first question has been provided. Please write the rest of the conversation, adding more questions to include more details. The first question is, when was the last time you helped somebody? All right, that's very general, but that starts the conversation. So you answer it and ask more WH questions to have a conversation about the details of you or your classmate helping somebody else. All right, go ahead, pause my video, complete the activity, write the conversation, and I'll see you in a moment. All right, I hope that you have your conversation ready, and let me show you some sample conversation. All right, when was the last time you helped somebody? It was last week. I helped a man in need. Where did you help that person? We were at the store. What did you do to help him? I helped him pay for his groceries or groceries. Both pronunciations are acceptable. How did you do that? I just gave him the extra money he needed to pay the bill. Why did you do it? I helped him because I think it is the right thing to do. He needed help, and I am happy that I had the chance to lend a hand. That is a very nice conversation, and now it is your turn to listen and practice your pronunciation. Listen and practice, please.
When was the last time you helped somebody?
It was last week. I helped a man in need.
Where did you help that person?
We were at the store.
What did you do to help him?
I helped him pay for his groceries.
How did you do that?
I just gave him the extra money he needed to pay the bill.
Why did you do it?
I helped him because I think it is the right thing to do. He needed help, and I am happy that I had the chance to lend a hand.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for having practiced your pronunciation. And remember that in this lesson, what we did was asking WH questions to inquire about specific information that we want about a subject. Remember that the subject could be one word or several words, and before the subject we have the auxiliary, and before we have the question word. Also, instead of just one question word, we can have a phrase, a long phrase that will be before the auxiliary and before the subject of the question. All right? And remember that there is something specific about who we need to take into account, whether we're asking about the subject of the sentence or about the object of the verb of the sentence. All right? Thank you. Thank you very much for having completed this activity, and I will see you in the next one.